Good day and welcome to this installment of Saints Sports. My name is Dominic Papa. Another competitive week of St. Clair College athletics gone and another good one coming up. We're going to talk basketball on this edition of Saints Sports. The men and women will both be in action at home this weekend. They'll be at home on Friday night, so depending on when you're watching this show, they'll take on their rival. It's going to be a fun game. It's always fun when they play Fanshawe. So the Saints and women men's basketball team both were on the road for the first time last weekend. Humber and Sheridan, never an easy road trip for either of those squads. And the Saints split. The women split 1-1. The men split 1-1. The men had a real tough week. They also played Mohawk earlier, which was at the Sportsplex, and it was Mohawk with a thrilling double overtime victory. So the Saints have seen the top teams in the league now. Excuse me. And we'll see where they go from there. We're going to get rolling here. We're going to talk to the men's basketball coach. That is head coach Brendan Segan. He joins us. Good afternoon to you, Coach Segan. And you know what? You had the nice start, the four games at home. Tough loss against Mohawk. Then you hit the road for the next two, which included Humber, the national defending champions. I'm guessing that you and co-head coach Matt Sykes probably learned a lot about your squad this year and where they're at.
Yeah, I think we did. It's always valuable to go on the road. Like you said, it's been a pretty comfortable start for the year for us, just being in our own gym, not having to go on road trips. So getting on the road and playing specifically that road trip, the Toronto one, which is notoriously difficult for us, showed us that we got a lot to work on. But we are 2 losses so far by a combined 6 points. So, I mean, both our losses, we had a chance to win. The team's growing, and it's going to take a little bit longer than maybe we thought it would. But it was a really big win Sunday at Sheridan to kind of get us on the right foot again and move towards this Friday.
Yeah, and I don't want to dwell on the 2 losses too much, Coach Segan. I agree with you. I didn't see the game in Humber. I followed it a little bit online, and you were right in it right to the end of that game. The Mohawk game, as I mentioned, went into double overtime. I would imagine there's a lot of positives you can still take out of those 2 games and really feel comfortable with your team still.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the Mohawk game was one of the more wild games I've been a part of. We did a lot of things right that night, hit a lot of shots, and they just hit one more, I guess you could say. And then Humber, we got off to a really good start and then struggled for a little bit. And then down in the fourth quarter, we made another nice comeback, and then they answered again, and we weren't able to answer. But most of the stuff that caused issues for us is very fixable, and the guys know that, and it's just going to take a little bit more attention to detail, a few more games and reps from some certain guys, and we'll be right there. We knew it was going to be a tough season going back to a full slate. The OCAA West, like I've said before, is notoriously difficult, and any team can win on any night. So we're happy where we are, and we'll take some lessons from the losses and just keep moving forward.
So where is the team at then, Coach Segan? I mean, I know you always work on all areas of the game, but is there one area that maybe needs a little more work than perhaps some other areas on the team?
I guess a little bit, maybe not an area as simple as offense or defense, but we've been talking to the guys about being a little bit more physical and tougher to play against. We think there's some games where we let teams get too many easy looks early on and get comfortable against us. And when you let a team get comfortable, like I said, every team in this league has guys who can really stack up points and make it difficult for you to win. So we're trying to be a little more physical and defensively, just a little bit more attention to detail and trying to get our system set up. I think this team's a little bit different than teams in the past where we may have to slow the game down a little bit and really use our veterans to grind teams down. So that's something we're working on right now, but nothing's glaring. just have to a little bit more attention to detail, both offensively and defensively.
What stands out to me, Coach Segan, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, the scoring. You look at Humber, you look at Mohawk, and you look at your squad. Scoring is it's just huge. Is that surprising at all?
I don't think it's surprising. I think the way the FIBA game is designed now, they want as many points as possible. With the shot clock and the way it's used, I mean, you get tons of possessions and you can't really take the air out of the ball. So any lead can evaporate really quickly, and seen that a couple times. But the league is really guard driven. A lot of guys on each team can shoot from distance. And there's a focus on that in transition. So teams love to push the pace and try to get as many easy looks as they can, and that inflates the scoring a little bit. And that's where maybe we're looking at trying to slow it down a little bit to try and get, we think in the half court that we can be very good. So if we can get more half court looks, both offensively and defensively, that'll benefit us. So no, it's not surprising that teams can score at this clip. But it's something that you have to be aware of every night, because any team can, like you said, can score 100.
How tough does that make the task of defending then?
Extremely tough. You have to be, like I said, that attention to detail is really important in the scouting report, and who we're going to lock in on and try to take certain things away from certain players. But like I said, it's very tough, and you got to mix in foul trouble and things that happen in just the course of a basketball game and try to adjust on the fly. And sometimes that's difficult, and that's something we've struggled with, making adjustments very, very quickly in games. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to defend any team. It's really who can pay attention the most and not foul. Teams who don't foul generally give themselves a better chance to win, and just taking care of the few points we put in the scouting report as best we can.
The other thing that's really evident with this team, or becoming evident, Coach Segan, is the depth. You've used your bench a lot, which I think is a great thing. I think it's going to be maybe that much more important this season, because you mentioned how competitive this Western Conference is, and it's physical. Even though you want your team to play even more physical, but you're going to need that depth as the season goes on here, and then you get into the Ontarios.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice to have, and we are trying to get some guys minutes early on to get them acclimated for the stretch run. But yeah, it's something that we're very comfortable with. Like you said, every game is very physical in this league, and each night certain teams have guys out, and there's always another guy stepping up. So for us, I think we were very comfortable going 10 to 12 deep every night, just based on matchup. And got a couple of young guys that are still getting their feet wet, but they've done a good job. And the thing I like the most about our depth is that we have 8 or 9 guys who all played for us last year and have been through everything together. And that's made the bumps a little easier to go through. It's a little easier to be honest and talk to each other as well. There's a lot of trust there. So our depth is going to be one of our biggest things down the stretch, and we're really going to lean on it as the games get bigger and more important.
So let's get to this weekend, Coach. You're back home, which is nice. It's one of those games, I think, we always talk about London, Windsor in every sport, whether it's university athletics, college athletics, OFC football, you name it. London and Windsor just have a great rivalry at all levels, at all sports. No different this weekend. Fanshaw's in. It's a game that I'm sure you and Coach Sykes are looking at and saying, take nothing for granted here, and put the foot to the pedal, right? Yeah,
exactly. Me and Coach Sykes both have talked earlier in the week, and Fanshawe is very well coached. They've been very well coached for a long time now. We've been in some real battles with them that go down to the last possession. So we're not expecting anything different. We're expecting a team to come in. They're coming off a win as well, so they're trending in the right direction. So it's always a difficult game, like you said. That natural rivalry just between London and Windsor definitely exists, and it's something that we're aware of and trying to keep our guys level-headed and go into the game ready to play. But yeah, we're not going to take anything for granted, and we know it's a big game for both teams. The way the standings are shaping right now, you can win a game and drop 6 spots, or lose a game and drop 6 spots, or win a game and move up 3 spots. I mean, they're only a game and a half behind us, and we're separated by 4 spots in the standings. So it's very, very tight, and every team thinks they can win every night, and that just adds a little more to a rivalry.
Okay. And of course, this is the last home game before the break. I mean, you got a couple more games on the road and then get on the holiday break. So we need to get a big crowd and take advantage of the home court here. Coach Segan, appreciate your time here as always. Look forward to seeing you at the Sportsplex on the weekend, and hopefully we can celebrate a Saints victory there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tom.
All right. That's co-head coach Brendan Segan of the men's basketball team. They'll tip on Friday evening at 8 p.m. approximately. The women will play before them at 6 p.m. They'll be in tough as well with Fanshawe. The women, of course, split on the weekend. They're looking to just find their way. That's still a work in progress. They're in the middle of the pack in their conference, so it's a very important game for the women. And also, just to let you know, it's alumni night at the Sportsplex, so they got some good things going on for the alumni. So get out, enjoy the game, and let's help the Saints find a way to knock off their rivals, the Fanshawe Falcons. I also want to mention that we have Saints volleyball coming up this weekend. Both the women and men will be at home on Saturday, the 26th, and they'll have games at 6 p.m. The men will go at 6 p.m. The women will go at 8 p.m. Sheridan is in town. Very important game for both teams. Sheridan and the Sheridan men and the Saints men, just one game separating them right now. So, you look, it's not playoff time, but when it's all said and done, this game could have playoff implications. So very important game for Coach Riem and the men's volleyball team. The women looking to bounce back, of course, after losing against Humber on the weekend. I'm going to say they will. I hope they will. This is a really good squad, the women's team. They're sitting in second place still at 5-2, so still a very good record. And hopefully on Saturday they can make it complete. So that gets you updated on everything St. Clair. We'll check in hopefully with the volleyball people next week. We'll also get Coach Andy Kiss from the women's basketball team on next week to catch up with him. And of course, We Digital will have all the games for you starting Friday and Saturday. That's it. That's this edition of Saints Sports. On behalf of everybody here at We Digital Productions, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great day. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody.